Hi guys, Coach Mahboob here. Welcome to my motivational talk show. In today's series, we'll be interviewing a number of individuals from different walks of backgrounds and life, and they'll be sharing their insights in terms of how they dealt with fears, phobias and failures. So please pay close attention in terms of what they say, because it will help you to improve the quality of your life by taking on the advice that they say. You can also transfer these advice that they give in other areas of your life. So without further ado, let's begin our first interview.
My name's Aleem and I work for the council in Camden. Well, one of the challenges that I face in life is around my marriage. It's a big milestone in my life, and I got married at the age of around 25. It's a big decision, and when I went into that, it's quite important that I was wholly committed. And whatever happened in that marriage between me and my wife, it was really important that I made it work. So that was one of the biggest challenges in my life, was marriage. Let's look at what marriage is. It's people coming together. Now those two people have been brought up by their parents in different environments, different values, different beliefs, maybe the same, similar beliefs in my case, but we had different values in the way that we were brought up. So I recognised that when we were coming together, there were going to be differences in the way that we had to gel together, if you like, as friends or companions. But I don't think I was totally prepared. I had an idea of what it could look like, but I don't think I was totally prepared. So when I went in, a lot of things took place. For example, as a husband, I had expectations of my wife, and I'm sure as my wife, she had expectations of what a marriage would look like. I was, the way I am as an individual, I was a very angry person as a young person, and when I got into my marriage, it all started to come out. I think my family would probably be reluctant to tell me to my face that I was a very angry person, but I think in the case of husband and wife, they seem to share each other's traits quite easily. And one thing that came out in my marriage was that you know, my wife used to tell me how much of an angry person I was, and especially to my family members. So in terms of dealing with it, I was very fortunate to be a youth worker at that time, and an opportunity came to me to become a conflict resolution worker with young people. And then I did a 2-year apprenticeship. Now part of that journey was about reflecting on my own personal conflict. The journeys that I had, or the understand who I was as a person, and that really helped me to deal with relationships, not just with my wife, but with my family, my friends, colleagues at work, everywhere. It really had a massive impact on my life. So some of the tools that I might use were some of the exercises in that training that I had for 2 years. Things like recognizing the triggers in your life, the things that actually set you off. And it was really difficult at first, but when we were taken through the journey of that one trigger and then recognizing other triggers, it was very easy to start to see other people reacting to triggers. Now, when I took this back to my home, dealing with my wife, I tried to point it out, but obviously she didn't go through the same training as me. Okay, so it was very interesting. I was able to, you know, that's your red flag, that's your trigger, that's your red flag, and for her it was like I'm accusing her of being in the wrong. So it didn't work like that. So I had to take a different stance. It was as if, okay, I've learnt something new. I'm going to gain some benefit out of it, but I can't expect other people to know about it unless they've gone through the similar journey. So it was really about me taking control of my personal situation at that time. So eventually what I've come to learn is, should I allow a circumstance or an event to affect me? And if I do, then it was a choice that I made, and as long as I'm aware of that consequence, then that can be a very informed choice. But if I'm not aware of the consequence and I react, that's the responsibility I have to take.
Got you.
And whatever those consequences are, either for me or the other party, it's, if I choose to take responsibility, I can minimise the damage. If I choose not to take responsibility, that conflict can escalate, that relationship could break down, the communication could break down, and really, in effect, I have this knowledge and in a way I've abused it. I've abused that knowledge. There's a teacher that a sheikh that I'm aware of, Sheikh Babakar, and when I went to one of his sessions on a Saturday, one advice he gave, and what he did on that night, on the circle that I went to, he said something very, very powerful, very simple but very powerful. And he said, never think bad of people, always think the best of people, no matter what. And for me that was a different meaning. I'm not sure how it could be taken by others, but for me, I'll just explain what my understanding was. That if a person has something bad inside them, it's not necessarily them. It's, from my studies and my research, it's more around their thoughts and their behaviour, which was influenced by their circumstances or the environment. So it's very easy for someone to change their habit or their action that you might see. So never think bad or ill of anyone. It doesn't matter whether you're Muslim or non-Muslim, whether whatever religion you are, whatever creed or background you come from. I think if we can all treat each other as human beings, first and foremost, and then recognise each other's different beliefs and values, this world would be a much better place. And it's beautiful. Your relationships will be so rich with people. You know, there is so much to learn. It doesn't, just because you feel that you have the better values or the better beliefs, this is a limitation. You know, you stop yourself from learning from others. And if the more you can learn, the more you can reach your potential as a human being, the more understanding we can have. And you know, understanding takes a lot of energy. And one of my firm beliefs is that to increase your understanding, you can only go so far, and the rest really comes as a favor from God, favor from Allah. So if you really, you have to be worthy of it. So therefore, think good of people and support people. And if you see something you don't like, understand it. Understand it first and foremost. And if you can help. If you can't, then just leave it alone. But don't judge people.
Hi guys, Coach Mahbub here. Welcome back. Now, in this part of the show is where I give you a bit of homework to do, because success is not just about talking, it's also about implementing the knowledge that you learn and incorporating it into your day-to-day life. I'll give you one question, and that question is this. From the interviews that you just heard, what one piece of advice was very beneficial and made great importance to you? And take that bit of advice and implement it until it gets embedded in your day-to-day life and actions. So I'll leave you on that note. Until then guys, stay tuned for the second portion of our interview. Bye for now.